In this case study, I'm going to share with you the amazing Amy Tyler. Amy Tyler is not only an oncology massage therapist, she has been an oncology trainer for a number of years. She's had 23 years experience in the industry, and she's now created her own online oncology massage course and started the Institute of Oncology Massage. Her story is just phenomenal because had so much experience in this industry and yet never had to do any marketing whatsoever. Once COVID hit, a bunch of things changed, and she's going to share her story with us as we go. What I love about Amy is not only her energy, she's incredibly practical. She's got lots of lovely vitality and really exceptionally good boundaries. She's able to take many situations that she's experienced and basically create an opportunity for herself in them so that, it helps her to create the most amazing outcome. And you're going to see that process and that strategy time and time again throughout this interview. So I am really excited. If you are a therapist that is, maybe you've been a solo practitioner for a while and you're like, how do I build my massage practice now? Or you might be looking at how to create an online course. Amy also shares the reality of what it was like for her to actually build her own massage course. So I look forward to sharing this with you, and I look forward to sharing this interview. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Alicia. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for coming and chatting with me today. I'm so excited to share your journey with our listeners. I think it's going to be awesome, awesome stuff.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So, Amy, do you want to share a little bit about who you are and your business and kind of who you help in your clinic?
Okay, so my business is Amy Tyler Therapeutic Massage. I started massage straight out of high school, so I've been about 22, 23 years now. And I've ended up specialising in working with cancer patients and then people with lymphedema or scars.
Nice. And why, let's start with where you were before working with us. What was it that made you want to get some coaching?
So I've pretty much winged business for 20 some odd years. And, back when I started business coaching, I don't think it even was a thing. And I just got into being a sole practitioner, did everything solo on my own. And business over the years picked up and I went full time and it was actually going really well. But it had been a long, hard slog to get there. And then I also had a gig where I was employed offering oncology massage in a clinic supporting a local hospital. And then COVID hit. I lost my employment gig and it didn't look like it was coming back. And I also lost most of my referral base because doctors were telling patients just to have life-saving treatment and go home. So I went from being a fully booked clinic that really didn't have to advertise because I had such good word of mouth referrals to going, wow, so I've now just not really got much coming in the door and I've also lost my one-day paid gig. So I thought that I'd pick up the extra day in my clinic, seeing as it didn't look like that was coming back post-COVID, the employment, and I needed to fill that day along with my other gaps that I had. And having never done any advertising really, bar word of mouth, I thought this is probably a really good time to seek out some help. I'd probably been stalking you guys since the beginning of your business, I realised, since talking to you post then. And it just kind of felt like the right time, even though I'd gone from literally having a great income to no income. I felt like having no income was still the right time to join this program, just to set me up post-COVID times.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I came into it, was to learn social media, marketing, all the online stuff that I detested beforehand and didn't utilise at all.
And I think it's pretty courageous to be able to back yourself when you're like, "Oh, there's no clients in the door. I can't work, and I'm going to jump into a 12-month program to learn how to do all the things that I've never actually had the opportunity before." It's courageous and also very much like you to take advantage of all great opportunities that are presented to you. which is, I think, one of the reasons why you're still in this industry after 22, 23 years,
Yes.
because you will take advantage of what's actually offered to you, which is amazing and part of your
Yeah.
testament to your character.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That is, no, that's our pleasure. So then, what were some of the things you actually had to implement and I guess journey through when it comes to the hands-on side of your business? You have a whole other arm to your business, which we're going to discuss as well. But if we just look at the hands-on stuff that you had been working for 20 something years in your business, never had to do marketing before, and probably resisted it to some point as well. What did you have to kind of journey through to start to get clients in the door again?
Well, yeah, so I didn't even have Instagram personally, let alone for business. I always joke saying I was bullied into having Facebook for my business by my friends. They were like, you need to have this. I'm like, why? I don't do anything with it. So I opened a Facebook account years prior and I literally did nothing with it. So it just sat there. So yes, when I started in the program, obviously getting things like just trying to think up, how do I do daily Facebook posts and Instagram posts? Actually figuring out how to do that, how to systemize that so I didn't have to do it every day. Doing a month's worth in advance and just scheduling it all, allocating that time into my working week, because I personally don't like to work weekends or like 8 p.m. at night. I like to have a life outside of my career. So try and just cement all of that new knowledge into the time frame I already had in my work schedule. And yeah, that was challenging because for me, I had a very private Amy and a professional Amy, and I didn't really mix the two. And that's been a big journey, I suppose, for me, opening up a bit more, showing a bit more of who I am on social media. I've still got a long way to go, I think, with that. But yes, it's breaking down those little barriers that we have within ourselves, and sharing that with the wider world is
Yeah.
probably my biggest challenge.
Yeah. And it's been beautiful to actually see that come through social media. And obviously the thing about social media is you can share as much or as little as you choose.
Yeah.
And I mean, there is such a thing as oversharing, which we don't certainly don't kind of encourage around here. And learning to be okay with sharing more of us usually comes down to us being okay to do that in order for it to be congruent and sustainable in the long term. And that is, you're right, it's a process and a journey to actually walk through. It's not just, I should do social media. It's like, should I? There's actually many
Yeah.
things that we usually have to break down. You have also come to a lot of the retreats that we've run since you've been in the program, because you're an all-in kind of person. Do you want to
Yes.
share what's your experience like attending the retreats throughout your time in the program?
So my first retreat, I was very disappointed because we went into lockdown just prior. And so I think that was one of your first virtual retreats that you had to do. And everyone was virtual. So that was a very different experience for me, doing something that was so interactive virtually, because I'd done webinars before, but this was totally different. So since then, I have attended literally every other retreat, because I found that first one just so inspiring and I wanted to be a part of that. And I found that if you're there with people, you get to network in your morning tea, afternoon tea, lunch breaks, pre and post. And to me, it's that community that you build. So I found that as the program is quite interactive anyway, the retreats really build those connections. And I think finding those like-minded people, getting the enthusiasm that is in that room is just so motivating. You walk away completely pumped, ready to just focus and do what you need to do in business. I use it as a mini holiday as well. It's kind of like a forced break for me. So it means that I'm leaving clinic, my body gets a bit of a rest. I extend it out to have a couple of extra days, so it's good for self-care. But the program itself, even if some of it might be about teams and I'm a solo practitioner, there's always something relevant still in that for the solo practitioner. And if you're talking about things for solo, even people who work in teams can implement that.
So when it comes to, doing all this new marketing stuff, what are some of the results that you've gotten from that?
well, certainly getting more patients through the door, which is obviously the whole aim, but finding the right patients. So I found with a lot of marketing, obviously people just Google massage and everybody comes up. And you don't know why they're Googling massage. It could be for anything under the sun. So having a niche clientele, it's really important to make sure you market to that niche. So you're not just getting all these random people contacting you. And I used to have a lot of people just phoning me for regular massage or emailing me for regular massage. And I decided to close my books a couple of years ago to that. So I wanted to, if I was going to market, actually make sure that it was relevant to my clientele and that I wasn't just getting 50 million phone calls from people that I didn't want to be working on, because there are so many other massage therapists out there who can work with them. I wanted those specific clients who would find me for the work that I specifically trained to do. So that's been the huge benefit, I suppose.
Yeah, nice. And it's important to be able to speak the right message to those people as well. And whether it is themselves or their family or caregivers or their care choosers, as the case may be sometimes, your clients may not be on social media, but their care choosers are. And to be able to, have something that they can go to and access and resource like websites and Instagram and Facebook and things like that is really important. And it's good to be mindful of the fact that your target market may not be on social media, but the people who choose their care often will be.
Absolutely. And I think also that still oncology massage, scar massage, even sometimes lymphedema work isn't well known about. So people don't know they should be looking for us. So you need to market to people who don't know they need you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a much bigger challenge to just marketing to people who know that they want to look for you. So having learned that's been pretty good.
Yeah, beautiful. So then you made a decision to add an extra arm. So you chose not to hire a team, completely fine. Solo practitioner, happy to stay that way, thumbs up. However, you decided to scale in a whole different way and at some point decided, I am going to create an online course. Do you want to share with us what was it that made you want to create an online course? And then we'll talk about the beautiful process that came with that.
Well, I've taught for, 8 some odd years and absolutely love teaching. So engaging with the other therapists, there's always an absolute wow moment when therapists learn something that they think, why was I not taught this in basic massage school? And it's just, I find it really motivating actually seeing that in other therapists. So I absolutely love teaching. And I thought with an online platform, there's an opportunity to reach rural therapists. And oncology massage is going to be needed everywhere in Australia, so not just in the cities. So an online platform meant that I could reach anybody, no matter where they lived, and they could afford to do the training. So yes, I decided that I would set up a brand new organisation and create a platform that people could utilise, but still keep it to a class scenario, because I wanted to integrate with those people and connect with them. So I didn't just want it to be a platform where they logged in anytime that they wanted to and completed the course and gone. I wanted to still have that interaction. So yes, being able to create something that had both of those things was really amazing. And I had the idea actually signing up for the program. I had no idea how I was going to achieve it. And I hadn't really thought about signing up for this program for that. I signed up to get my clinic fully booked. So it was just a really random conversation that I had with James right at the beginning, and said, oh yeah, and I'm kind of looking at doing this too. And his eyes just like lit up like, oh, this is exciting. And that's when I learned that you guys actually could help me with that side of things as well. And that's what I needed, because I'm not sure how I would have actually started the process without any of that support.
Yeah, it is building a course is there's a lot in it. Like it sounds and lots of like it just sounds so simple in some ways. And in some ways in marketing, it's like, oh, make an online course, scale your impact, yay. And we say that in our marketing, it's true. What we miss in that is the work that goes into and the process behind building a high end and the process that goes into building a premium program is it's not something that just gets kind of happens overnight. It's
No.
like L'Oreal. It doesn't happen overnight, but it still happens. So for you, what was that process actually like? How long did it take? And what was the process like?
So it pretty much took a year, from the beginning of setting up the company and creating the company structure, then doing things like, well, I need a business name. So what am I going to call this? Then, if you have a business, you need a logo. What am I going to do with the logo? How is that actually going to brand for me? So even just learning things like, what does logo say about you? Who knew that there was so much information behind that? Choosing colors, all that kind of stuff as a business, to then how do you do a recording and a presentation? How do you edit that? I literally did all of that myself. So I didn't have a cinematographer or, a video editor. I learnt that either from you guys or a bit of Googling. Creating all the coursework, and then, well, you need a website, and now you've got the coursework, but you need a platform for that coursework to flow with. I wanted this course to be world standard. So having to create it at such a level as well to meet those requirements included quizzes, exams, certain things that were required of me for it to meet the world standard. So yes, it was a lot of hard work outside of my clinic hours. I feel like I lived and breathed creating that course for the year. And then once you've created it, how do you sell it? How do you market it? So then suddenly it was like, oh, you need Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and everything else, and you need to be posting on that. So not only was I then posting for my clinic, I was then having to create posts for the new business. So yes, it was a lot of hard work. And again, bar the support from you guys in that, I didn't really seek out help elsewhere. So I've done a lot of my business over the last 20 years solo. And I think that's why this program has been so amazing as well, because you don't feel like you're doing it solo. You've got the support of people who, not just yourself as the coaches, then the crew, but you've also got the other members of the program who are very supportive of you. So having that, even though the majority of the year, I think there was 9 months where I kept it completely closed, no one was allowed to know what I was setting up, to when I was ready to launch, letting everybody know. As soon as we launched and people in the program knew what I was doing, the support I got was amazing. So yeah, it was really, really nice to have that, having done quite a lot of it alone.
Yeah. And there is a lot of work in building a course, and there's so many pieces to exactly creating a module. You've got to film it, you've got to edit it, you have to host it somewhere, you have to link that somewhere, you've got to embed that code somewhere, you've got to make the templates right. Like there's, I know because we have created many courses, the work that goes into doing it. And people often think, oh, good, that's done. And like I said, then you've got to sell and market it. And I think for you, knowing what I know about you, that you do things really well and you're often very well prepared and well supported through this, being able to actually have people sold at full price into your first intake. I know you walked into a retreat room with a contract signed and credit card details, which is just That's as it should be. You know, when things are set up well, you don't have to worry about will it be successful or not. It's like, firstly, you've got enough background knowledge to know that people need this, but also you literally backed yourself to be able to say, come in and do this course. And just to be clear too, when you say you're not just talking about world standard in terms of world class, it's going to be amazing, but actually there are world standards for oncology training and treatment that Amy has applied for because of the course that she's created. So just for those that may not know that that's a thing, it's a thing, which is awesome. And so the course standard is literally world standard training being able to be implemented online across the world, not just here in Australia. So we're not geographically located in just where you're from. There's actually, you're not bound geographically anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, that's not something I thought about when I set up the program. I was setting up for Australia just to reach those therapists. But there's endless opportunity. And the growth that may be available from this is huge. I have massive ideas in my brain, and one day, hopefully, they will all come to fruition as well. But it's baby steps. Starting off with this course and just creating this was big enough. So now just selling this and enjoying, I think, kind of the training progress that the students go through for the next couple of courses before anything else. I think will be important as well.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that it sets you up for is what you said before, was that you don't like working weekends. And often people who create training courses will have to spend their weekends flying into another state, do the hands-on training, fly home, treat for the week. And if that's not how you're wired and your choice is to enjoy your weekends, then the opportunity to do that is given, because you don't have to go anywhere or be anywhere at any particular time. You can have a portal that people access the really great, powerful information that you've created. And then you can do a weekly Zoom like this, where you can record and interact and facilitate the learning process with your students, especially when you enjoy that as much as you do. I think that's, it's amazing. And that's part of what online courses actually allow us to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't want to lose what I enjoyed. Just because COVID happened. And it's, an opportunity that arose and something I probably wouldn't have thought of pre-COVID. So as horrible as that was, thanks.
Exactly. Like you said before, you utilize every opportunity for good, which is beautiful. It's a good strategy. So what have you found most challenging in the coaching process?
Probably asking for help.
That's
a big one, right?
Yeah, talk us through that.
So I think like in the first year of the program, I just kind of like plodded along through all the portal, did all the bits, struggled with some things and forgot to ask for help because I'm just so used to having done business alone. And then by the time I was getting to the end, I was like, should have probably been asking for a bit more help than I have been. And I was watching others asking for help and I'm like, this is great. All this support that's provided, and wasn't really utilizing it. And so I was thinking, well, this is like the whole reason I signed up, right? So actually dropping those boundaries or those barriers that I had, and just asking for support, asking for help with things, rather than trying to spend hours Googling it or trying to figure it out and not figuring it out and then spending more hours trying to figure it out. Actually, if you can't figure it out the first time you search for it, ask. So that's probably been my biggest challenge, is just asking.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
It is, well, I think it's a massive lesson, Amy. Often when we're independent, we're not used to, not only we're not used to, but we're kind of conditioned to not. It's like we can almost get significance by, I figured that out myself and it was really hard, so that makes it even better.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I'll never forget being on a call with this beautiful client who became a client after this. And he was talking about, what do I do in this scenario? Like there's a do I sign up to high caps or do I not? What if we get audited and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, you can't get audited from high caps. There's nothing that would happen unless you've signed up for high caps. They can only audit you for the time you signed up. And he just went, I have been stewing over that for 3.5 years. And I said to him, imagine what we could do in 12 months if every little question like that got answered in the moment. And he was just like, and it was awesome. Like, we had a really cool journey, and we kind of often laughed about the high caps decision. And sometimes we can get so stuck in our heads that the littlest things become these massive hurdles, when really it's like, that's just what we call a base camp. You come to base camp, ask your question and move through. And often other people ask questions too, and it's like, I didn't even know I needed to know that question. Great.
I think that's been a big thing for me with base camp, is that, I've learned so much from other people asking their questions that I'm like, oh, I probably should have asked that myself, but I didn't think about asking. So thanks that they did, because now I've learned that, and I don't need to spend hours wasting my time trying to figure it out. Yes. So yes, I think even if you don't necessarily know what to ask, just being there, you gain so much from.
Yeah. Nice. So we talk about the 3 amazing M's: mindset, marketing, and mechanics. If you had to pick one thing from each of those, what has been your biggest, what results have you seen so far in relation to your mindset, your marketing, and the mechanics in your business?
So mindset wise, probably just trying to stay focused and believe that you can achieve this. Obviously, with the coursework, trying to set that up from scratch was huge. Some of it a little bit overwhelming, and just staying focused on that one thing you need to do now rather than looking at the big picture. It's those baby steps that once you do them, you tick them off, actually everything just flows. So I think that was a really good thing for me. Marketing, obviously social media, because I just didn't use it at all. So learning everything around social media, from what to post, how to post, engagement, how to do it, create ads, all that kind of stuff has just really helped my business, or both businesses now. And mechanics, really, like, I'm not a techie person. So I don't search out new technology or new apps or anything like that. And just to have been informed by either content on your portal or at retreats when you've talked about things, or through a question that I've asked and being, told, oh, there's an app or there's tech that can help you with that. And majority of the time it's free. So just being able to know what's out there and then utilize it in business to my advantage has been fantastic. So it makes productivity so much better.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Amy, what would be the number one piece of advice to anyone out there right now who wants to build a course and maybe get good at marketing and would be in a similar place to where you were? What would it be?
To trust yourself. Often your critics are people who probably didn't have the courage to do it themselves, but also to seek support, because you don't have to do it alone. So, yeah, that's major. So that's everything that I think I needed.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Amy, thank you so much for your time today and for sharing your story with us. It's so exciting to see where you've been over the last couple of years in terms of creating your course and filling your practice with beautiful niche values matched clients and watching your confidence grow through social media. And thank you so much for sharing your journey, because it hasn't always been that way. And to be able to see the growth that you've experienced over the last couple of years has been phenomenal. And I just know that therapists in Australia and all over the world are going to benefit so greatly from the Institute of Oncology Massage that you're now running. So yeah, thank you so much for allowing us to be part of that journey.
Thanks, Leisha. It's been great chatting.
Woo!